the end of February, so you know what that means. It is time for another round of brand new picture book releases. Every month I round up some of the top picture books that were released that month. Now I know there were tons that are released every month, but that would make for a really long video. I try to round up around 10 or so, give or take, of picture books that came out that month because I know that you are always looking to get new books into your classroom to share with your students and to read aloud. And I also know it's really hard to keep up with all of those new books. So I figured every month I'll give you just a couple that you can add to your collection. I will make sure that I leave all of the books linked down below so that you can grab them and share them with your students right away. Let's jump into those brand new books that were released in February 2024. The first book that we have is called A Happy Place. This one was written by Britta Checkentup. I don't know if I said that right. This is an enchanting picture book that takes readers on this magical moonlit adventure. And it really will inspire your students' imagination. There are peek-through pages and cutaways that will make this book really fun to read. This adventure follows a tiny star and it invites all to dance with a host of animals. But is it all a dream? You'll have to read it with your students to find out. The next one I have is perfect for the springtime coming up. I know I'm waiting for the snow to go away and that warm weather to come. This one is called Escargo and the Search for Spring. This one is written by Daska Slater, and I may have shared it in my 2024 books that I'm looking forward to. I'll leave a link to that video in the description box if you want to check out all of the books that I'm looking forward to this year. This book is about a cute French snail that sets off for an adventure with an adorable bunny. This book is part of the best-selling Escargo series. It's their latest book in the series. And after a long winter spent indoors, Escargo can't wait to get outside and search for those first signs of spring. I think we all feel that way once March starts to roll around. We're sick of being inside and we're ready for spring. Will Escargo find a new friend in this fluffy white bunny that he finds along the way? Again, you'll have to read with your students to find out in this fun read aloud book that will make everybody looking forward to spring. Another picture book that was released in February 2004 is called Seeds of Change. This one is written by Nina Layden. This is a poetic picture book about having the courage and the resilience to plant seeds that will improve not only ourselves but our community as well. After seeing an area in her local Madagascar community devastated from a drought, a young girl gets inspired. She could plant a garden. What could be more perfect? So she gathers her friends and they work together to make a plan. When things go devastatingly wrong, what can they do? It takes a lot of courage, but with the support of her community on her side, this girl does not give up. And one way or another, she'll figure out how to sow those seeds of change in her community. This book really teaches that invaluable lesson of patience and to see that in time our efforts will blossom and will grow into something. A great picture book read aloud to share with your students. Another new book is It's Holy by Sanyukta Mathur. In this book, a young boy and his family are getting ready to celebrate Holi and the start of spring. There are sweet and savory treats that are on all the platters, and a rainbow of powdered colors is set out. Everyone is ready for the bright and messy festivities ahead. But then the young boy starts to get a little nervous as he sees his sisters throwing the colored powder and the water balloons at each other. He's just kind of uncomfortable with all of this messiness. And so his family, noticing these fears and how he feels, they really want him to celebrate in this fun and messy celebration, so they come up with a solution. And this book is complete with a glossary of Hindu words and delicious recipes at the back to help your students and help you learn more about this wonderful holiday. Another picture book that was released in February 2024 is called Sydney's Big Speech. This one is written by Malcolm Newsome, and it's a wonderful picture book about perseverance, overcoming challenges, and working hard to achieve your goals. In this story about a father-daughter relationship, Sydney wants to be a great leader when she grows up. She's inspired by so many leaders that have come before her, but there's just one problem. When she tries to speak in front of her class, she gets nervous and the words just won't come out. Your readers are going to cheer for Sydney as they follow her journey that includes practice, encouragement from her dad, and some inspiration from her favorite leaders. This is a great book for introducing or reiterating those social emotional learning skills in the classroom, as well as introducing your students to some powerful leaders and how they can inspire us and encourage us to be who we want to be. A great new picture book. The next book is by one of my favorite authors, Mo Willems. This one is called Are You Big? This is a hilarious nonfiction picture book about the relationship between size and scale. And a simple question, are you big, sends readers to the far reaches of the universe. From an average sized kid to a hot air balloon to a storm cloud, size is really a matter of perspective. And this picture book really takes those real world science concepts and puts them into a fun book for students to learn. This will be a great book to add to your STEAM collection, to talk about those science topics with students in a fun and engaging way. Another picture book that was released in February 2024 is called Cranky. This is a very funny picture book about big trucks, big feelings, and even bigger friendships. It's the last day at the construction site, and Cranky, the crane truck, is feeling, well, cranky, and he doesn't want to talk about it. His friends Zippy, Wheezy, and Dump Truck try to cheer him up. But you know what doesn't help when you're feeling cranky? A lot of talking. But what will help? This book really shows young readers how kind friends and honesty can help you get through those big emotions. An important topic for students that can be tricky to teach them, but this again is where picture books can help. They can help students get through those emotions and understand how to express them and how to deal with them. A great book for social emotional learning to add to your collection. Next, we have Dear Muslim Child. This one was written by Rama Rhoda, and it's an inspirational picture book to help Muslim children take joy and proud. This is an inspirational picture book to help Muslim children feel proud and take joy in their Islamic faith. It's perfect for fans of In My Mosque and The Proudest Blue, and it really helps Muslim children all over the world celebrate their faith and their traditions. It helps them be seen in a book. Another great picture book to add to your collection. This next book I think my mom wishes she had when I was a young child. This one is called Just Try It by Phil Rosenthal. It's a hilarious picture book about a food-loving dad who's trying to get his picky daughter just try something new. Now, I was and still am a very picky eater, so I think this would have been the perfect book for me when I was younger. Phil has one rule about food, and that is to try everything at least once. Otherwise, how will you know if you like it? His daughter Lil disagrees. She already knows what she likes. Just bread and pasta with no sauce. And that's all there is to it. So when the two of them go to a food truck festival, Phil tries to get her to try something new. He tries introducing her to all this delicious cuisine, but she's just not having it. And just when it looks like it's going to be a very long day, an unexpected mustard accident changes everything. You'll have to read this book with your students to find out what happens at the end of this story. A perfect read aloud for those picky eaters in your classroom. Another picture book that was released in February 2024, I told you there were a lot this month, is Meltdown by David Griswold. This is a picture book that uses robots to help students understand those big emotions. Another social emotional learning book that you can use in your classroom. Did you know that robots never stay up past their bedtime? They power down right at 7 o'clock. And when robots are upset, they never hit. They use their programming language. But even robots with all the latest updates sometimes malfunction. Meltdowns happen. And while they're no fun, they don't last forever. This book really normalizes big emotions and explores some different ways to cope with even those biggest meltdowns. I think this will be really helpful for some of the students in your classroom. Next, we have Hello, one magic word that connects us all. This one is written by Viola Wang, and it's based on the Chinese creation myth. So many years ago, when the earth was still young, Nua was the only person on earth. She was very happy playing with the fish and the birds, but she longed for somebody to talk to. Then one day, she finds a way to create a new friend. When this new little person says hello, something magical happens. This is an uplifting story about the power of communication and how important it is and how we can communicate more. Again, another important book that you could use in your classroom. The next new picture book that I have that was released in February 2024 is My Thoughts Have Wings, written by Maggie Smith. The next book that I have that was released in February 2024 is called Ramadan Kareem, and it's written by M.O. Yüksel. This book shares the diverse celebration of Ramadan around the world, and it shares the emotions and joy that come along with this celebration. And in this book, you will experience the sacred traditions of Ramadan with children and families across the globe. This book also includes some back matter that gives more information about the holiday and how it's celebrated, and gives those fun interactive elements so your students can learn a lot more. And the last book that I have for this month is called The Wrong Book by Drew DeWall. What if the narrator of the book you're reading is just wrong? This hilarious book will have you correcting and laughing along the way. Do bicycles say cock-a-doodle-doo? Firefighters shout ding-dong when they put out a fire? That's what the narrator of this book thinks. Good thing there are some other characters to help set him straight. This book is sure to have your whole class laughing as they read along with this silly story with you. Now, that was quite a collection of brand new books that were released in February 2024, and I hope that you'll be able to grab some of them to read aloud in your classroom. I will leave links to all of them down below in the description box, and I want to know in the comments which one are you most excited to read. Which one of these February 2024 picture book releases is at the top of your list? If this video was helpful for you, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button down below, and make sure you check back in next week because I will have more picture book read alouds for you to share with your class right away. Have a great week.